Hello again. We talked about resources, we mentioned the potentially renewable resources, and we said that these resources are the ones that can be renewed, but they can be used faster than they can be renewed. And our activity influences their renewability. And we said that air is one of those resources. So today we're going to talk about pollution of the air. Look through the sources of the pollution and the dangers, problems that the pollution causes, and look through some solutions that will smooth the problems or avoid the pollution of the air. And shortly, we're going to talk about acid rain, photochemical smog, and greenhouse effect and global warming. Let's start with the sources of pollution. The biggest source of pollution is the burning of fossil fuels. During burning of coal, sulfur present in it would burn to form sulfur dioxide, which causes problems with breathing and lungs. And during the burning of fossil fuels, air inside engine cylinders causes, because of the high temperatures, the nitrogen and oxygen in the air to react and form nitrogen dioxide. Keep notes. Nitrogen and oxygen are not part of the fossil fuels, but during the burning of fossil fuels, the temperature inside the engines increases, and this temperature causes the nitrogen and the oxygen in the air to react with each other to form nitrogen dioxide. And in the lack of oxygen, fuel does not burn completely, and carbon monoxide is formed. And burning of leaded petrol releases toxic lead to the environment. And in the furnace, when air is heated or during the lightning, the nitrogen and oxygen in the air reacts to form nitrogen dioxide. And another source of lead pollution is the industry. Let's start with carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is formed when there is incomplete combustion of fossil fuel, of incomplete combustion of carbon. We mentioned the complete combustion of carbon in the past, and we said that carbon reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. But when there is not enough oxygen present, carbon monoxide is formed. And this is what happens when we have a gas stove in an unventilated room. The oxygen in the air gets used up, and maybe you have heard the stories of people found dead in the morning because they were because of this process. And there is a carbon monoxide gas that caused the death of those people because of the lack of oxygen. Carbon monoxide was being produced instead of carbon dioxide. Now, how does carbon monoxide damages us? It's a toxic gas and causes death because it combines with hemoglobin in blood and enables it from carrying oxygen, and the body starves from the oxygen, and that causes the death. Now, in the exam, if you are asked about this problem, you cannot say kills you, causes death, is a toxic gas, poisons you. These are unaccepted answers. The right answer is carbon monoxide combines with hemoglobin and enables blood from carrying oxygen. Enables hemoglobin from carrying oxygen. And what can we do to lower the amount of carbon monoxide released? A solution is the usage of catalytic converters. We are going to talk more in the future about catalytic converters and its workings, but for today you just need to know that catalytic converter is placed in the exhaust pipe and does the conversion of carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide, which is not a deadly gas. And another solution in the homes when we have stove, airing the house is a good idea, so we let the oxygen come in. Another pollutant is lead. Lead is a heavy metal, and is found naturally in the environment and is in a manufactured products. Maybe you have heard about the lead paint and the problems that this lead paint causes. And lead can be released in air as suspended particles, and it can set in your skin and can be ingested and come in your body, get in your body. And because it's a heavy metal, it's not going to be cleaned out of the body. It's going to stay there, deposit there. And if there is a high option for the lead pollution, the lead would come in you and stay there and gets in the levels that will hurt your health. Historic major sources for lead pollution are emissions from fossil fuels and industrial sources. I said historic because in a developed country, the fossil fuel is cleaned from the lead. Now, unleaded fuel is being marketed. The problems that the lead causes are different. In the adults, causes cardiovascular problems and damages the immune system and neurological effects it has. But the biggest problem is what it does to the kids. In the kids, causes behavioral problems and learning deficiencies. So if you are asked about the problems that lead as a pollution causes, this is the first answer for you. In children, causes behavioral problems and learning deficiencies. And as I said, today, at least in the developed countries, the petroleum is unleaded, and that has lowered the emission of lead in the atmosphere. Now, lead and carbon monoxide and nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide, they all are primary pollutants. And sometimes these primary pollutants react with other factors, and we have secondary pollution coming out of them. So nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide in the air, they are dissolved in water, in the water vapor, and come down as the acid rain. And in the presence of sunlight and the high temperatures, nitrogen oxides combined with volatile unburned hydrocarbon fuels forms ozone, which is a secondary pollutant, and that causes a photochemical smoke. Photochemical smoke is a problem in the big cities, especially in the cities with a big traffic. And you might have seen it, pictures, or you might have experienced it. Someone might say that ozone is a good thing. What's wrong with ozone? Ozone is a good thing, but we need a layer of ozone up in the higher layers of atmosphere. In the level ground of atmosphere, ozone is hurtful and causes problem for us. Other gases like carbon dioxide and methane with water vapor and nitrous oxide cause the greenhouse effect. Now, acid rain. There are two gases that are significant in acid rain, nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide. Carbon dioxide is not accepted. This is the answer, nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide. And when they dissolve in water, they cause acid rain. This rain has a low pH, a pH that is in the acidic range, and causes problems like limestone buildings and statues are worn away, and lakes are acidified, and aluminum ions are washed out of the soil. They get in the lakes, in the water, they get in the gills of fish and damage them and cause the fish to die. And nutrients are washed away from soil and leaves, and aluminum ions are freed as aluminum sulfate, and they damage roots and make them unable to get in the water from the ground. And the problem with the pollution is not local, doesn't happen only where the pollution it starts, but is global. Wind carries away, and these gases and pollution spreads. Now, there is some stuff that we can do to lower the gases that make the acid rain, or to lower the effects of acid rain in the ground. First of all, we do that by stopping acidic gases from being released. Now we do that in the scrubbers, in the factories where acid gases are released in these smokestacks. the acidic gases are heated with an alkaline like sodium hydroxide. And when acid and alkaline react with each other, they form a salt, and there's a neutralization reaction. So we are not going to have uh, acidic gases going out, but we're going to have water vapor. Another way is removing sulfur from petrol, and this is happening in the developed countries. Catalytic converters also. We said earlier that catalytic converters convert carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. At the same time, they convert nitrogen dioxide, which is acidic gas, into nitrogen, which is a non-reactive gas and is present in air. And to lower the effect of acid rain, we spread lime, and lime is added to land and lakes and neutralizes it. Now, first I want to talk about what is greenhouse effect. We all know that the sun emits radiation. This radiation comes to the earth and warms up the earth, and some of this radiation is taken from the earth. The biggest part is reflected back. That's why during the day when the sun is out, is warm, and during the night is cooler, because the radiation is reflected back to the atmosphere. But there is some gases who don't we stop this reflected radiation. They don't let this radiation go, and they block it, and they cause the earth to get warmer. And this is the greenhouse effect. These gases are carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, and oxides of nitrogen. And it's true that with the industrial revolution, all this stuff, these pollutions are more in the atmosphere, in the air. But the biggest problem of those four is the water vapor. This is the best blocker. There is a big debate in the world about global warming and greenhouse effect, and there are people who talk about it like this is destroying the world, and are trying to put limits in the usage. And I agree. I'm conservative, and I want to be good steward of the environment and the creation that God has blessed us with. But in the same time, we have to live in this planet, and God told us to be good steward. So while we take good care, we have to use the resources we have. And some of the problems that global warming causes are glaciers and polar ice would melt, the sea level would rise, the surface temperature would increase, desert would spread, less water, but at the same time, hurricanes and flooding would become more common. So some areas will have more water, and we are going to have a change in the distribution of the food cropping areas. And we don't have the recorded data of the temperature for a long time, like we don't have beyond 150 years. And this stuff maybe has happened in the past through the human history. We don't know that. That's why I'm not panicked. And I know as long as God would want to let the system work like it is, it's going to be. And when the time ends, He is going to bring the sun down. So this is my opinion, but you have to do research and create your own opinion about this problem. And I think you are going to do that in English. You're going to research in the greenhouse effect and the global warming. Now, as I said, I want to be good steward, and we all should strive to be good steward of the resources that God has provided, and we should try to do our best so we help the renewing of these sources. For instance, carbon dioxide, we know that is released in the air through respiration and burning, and is removed by plants. How can we take care of this balance? Planting trees and burning less fossil fuels. For methane, methane is produced by animals, rice fields, landfill sites. What is the solution for that? We can treat the organic waste, collect methane, and burn it as fuel, so use it for our benefit. So we have to strive to do the best to influence positively the renewability of these resources. Now, I have some questions now, and you know the drill by now. Stop the video, read these questions and answer, discuss them in a class so you can help each other understand better, and in the same time, repeating the answers, you are gonna remember the subject better. And after you go through these questions, for the rest of the time today, I would like you to review lesson 1 to the atmosphere. Look through key ideas in the page 12. They're really good. And as a homework for next time, you have quick and check questions, page 12. And if you go through revision and you have time, you can start the homework in the class. But on Friday, you are going to have a 15-minute quiz concerning atmosphere and its pollution. And I wanted to concentrate in reviewing in the composition of air, in the uses of the gases of the air, the method of separation of gases, and pollution. Know the gases that make acid rain, photochemical smog, and the greenhouse effect. Know the sources where the gases, these pollutants come from, and the problems that these pollutants create, and the masses or the things that we can do to lower the amount of these pollutants in the air. This is for today, and I hope you have a great time studying, and be blessed. Until next time we see each other again. Bye.